Trump said, yes, it's going to be hard for you for a little while, but it's going to be better later. Well, he's only going to be in office for 3 more years. So in 3 more years, the later isn't going to be under his watch. No country is advanced country is going to invade any other country anymore. And again, in Global Fracture, I explain why. The cost, any invasion is going to result in enormous deaths. A lot of soldiers are going to die. No democracy is going to be willing to do that. They will try to negotiate. The Americans are putting pressure on Taiwan to try to oppose China, but Taiwan is not going to invade China again. That failed before. Now, I've met many of the gangsters in high positions in the Taiwanese government, and they've been telling me for 30 years they want to reinvest in China. They want to merge with China again. They're trying to take all the money that they've stolen and created and use this to invest in China. They're trying to think, how can we get rich in China ourselves? They realize that China has more to offer Taiwan than the United States. So I think China is in a position to be able to negotiate with Taiwan. Any fight there is going to be naval, involve ships and submarines, basically, to try to disrupt trade. But a navy is no longer a very efficient military arm. Navies can be bombed very easily by missiles, as you've seen the Houthis in the Near East bombing ships, stopping ship trade. So I don't think that America really has any ability to try to militarily fight with China. The newspapers report that American army and military have made war games, tried to say, well, what'll happen if we fight with China? In every war game, America loses. So it's very unlikely they're going to do anything. All they can do is disrupt. And they can convince some Taiwanese and now maybe the Filipinos to disrupt. But that's about all that they can do. They may try to fight uh, over islands off China's coast. There's not going to be any direct fighting with China itself. It'll be fighting in the sea, not on land. And the question, Taiwan has surrendered its control over its computer chip manufacturing by building a huge, hundreds of millions of dollars facilities out west for the United States. And that hasn't really worked out very well because the American labor doesn't want to work as hard as Taiwanese labor, and they're finding they're unable to hire Americans to work at these facilities that are as competent as the Taiwanese. They're not having a very good experience trying to invest in the United States. So all of this is unfolding, and American war against the rest of the world may leave Taiwan in the backwash of all of this, and it may catalyze Taiwan's deciding to be a part of Asia instead of an island off the coast of California. You'd think that would be the case. If the base votes in its economic interests, it's going to oppose Trump. Trump says that he wants to support the farmers, that he wants to support labor, but he's really only supporting the wealthiest 1%. He's supporting Silicon Valley and the high information technology monopolies and the platforms, Google and Amazon and Apple, all of these countries. Let's look at what's happening at the base. His strongest base is in the rural areas, the uneducated areas, the farmers, not in the cities so much. But suppose you live in a farm. Trump has said, and Musk have said, we're going to privatize the post office. We're going to sell it off. And the new post office, if it's privatized, it's going to try to be run for profit. And the first thing the post office is going to do is stop rural delivery of the mail, because they say, it costs us a lot of money to deliver mail to all these farms and small towns and going, all over the place. The American government has been closing post offices in small towns throughout the United States, meaning very largely the West and very largely the rural areas that have voted Republicans. The post office used to be a center of small towns, and especially getting your mail. Imagine how hard it's going to be to get your mail if now there's no delivery to your address. Americans would have a mailbox, right outside their property. Imagine if they have to drive into town all the time to get the mail, and the mail prices are going to go way, way up for rural areas. It'll be they're only going to maybe double or triple for New York City or Chicago or Boston, but they'll be much higher in the rural areas, which are Trump's base. That's just one problem. Almost all of the Trump's reforms, he says that it's going to help his base, but who are you going to believe? What Trump says or your actual living conditions? These are very hard times for farmers right now. The medical care is being cut back. Local hospitals are being cut back. It's being harder and harder to live with farms, and that's why the population in the United States is leaving the rural areas into the cities. There's the same flight from the land that there's been because America's made it very hard to live in a rural area unless you have a few $1 million to have a home looking at the mountains in a tourist area or a ski area. So if the American voters look at their economic self-interest, they're going to realize that neoliberalism and Trump's policies to support the 1% are not in the interest of labor. They're against the interests of wage earners. The question is, how long is it going to be for wage earners to look at their own living conditions? Well, this is where the narrative comes in. The newspapers are reporting narratives that this is all going to be wonderful. Things are going to get better. Trump said, yes, it's going to be hard for you for a little while, but it's going to be better later. Well, he's only going to be in office for 3 more years. So in 3 more years, the later isn't going to be under his watch. And without him, the question is how the voters will vote. Well, what Trump has done is saying, well, I can't help you economically, but I can help you spiritually and your religion. I will fight against abortions. I will fight against women's rights. I will fight against college education. Trump has declared war on American colleges, threatening them with loss of their tax exemption, loss of government contracts, if they do not appoint a Zionist faculty and ban any support of the Palestinians, or if they permit transsexual women on their sports teams, or if they support favoritism towards the minorities, the DEI, diversification, equity, and inclusion. If they support this support for the students that couldn't join college before, then they lose the government support. And a lot of the Americans that support Trump are not educated, and they say, we don't like the educated people. There's an anti-intellectual strain in the United States of ignorant people making a religion out of a hatred of educated people, a hatred of people not on their race. The American political spirit is one of hatred of the others, hatred of the intellectual, hatred of the rich, hatred of the poor, hatred of the neighbor who's doing better. This is America is a dysfunctional country, as I think any Chinese tourist who's come to America has been able to see pretty quickly if they've gone to the urban areas. So the question is, can Trump say, well, your living standards will go down, but I'll fight for what you believe. I will fight against women. I will fight against abortion. I will fight to privatize the communist post office. I will fight against the intellectuals. I will close the universities. I'll do everything that you want to fight the people you hate. Is this going to be enough to make workers say, okay, we'll accept our lower living standards because we love to hate? Is that going to be the American spirit, or are they going to say, are they going to vote with their pocketbooks, as the phrase goes?